Hey, what's going on, guys? So it's John with Just Thoughts. Thank you for stopping by the channel. So I took a couple days off just so that I can refocus the direction that I wanted the channel to go to. And so after a few days, I came out with this idea, right? And this idea is that it's in my opinion that a section of the population has been convinced that this life that we're living, like if you're not financially independent, that this is all right, right? And I've been doing some research trying to figure out the best means by which I can explain this situation. And so the first place that I think I'm going to start is with a philosopher named Nietzsche. I think his name is right. If I botch anything, man, I'm so sorry about that. But one of the principles that he expressed, right, that I think is extremely important for us to bring into present day reality, is that his critique on Christianity, right? This is my He had a certain perspective about Christianity, and I want to make sure that I separate that perspective away from my own faith or religious perspectives, right? But it is important for me to mention that his view on Christianity was kind of in this mindset that a lot of the Christian individuals, the Christian faith, at that point in time, not in current society, but at that point in time, were all right with Christianity because what it seemed to do is to put off your own burdens onto something else, right? And it made you a pacifist or somebody that was passive about the external world, right? Because they had this idea that there would be something more. There's something more than just the external, the physical world, and there's something that the external world can't be able to quench, right? And Nietzsche didn't like that. He said that you guys were just unwilling to come to grips with the reality of the situation, and the only way for you to be able to cope is by creating this ideal, this religion. And I want to make sure one more time that's not my personal identification. I don't agree with that entirely, but I do think that it's important, right? There's some attributes in that critique that I think that we should place within our present day, and one of the means by which I think we can express this kind of situation is by like asking, like, first off, do you feel as if you've been convinced, right? I'm a part of one section of the population, right? There's a certain strata or hierarchy of wealth, of access to resources and opportunities. I'm a part of one of those strata, right? It's kind of in the lower. Done the best that I could with the resources and opportunities that I was given by my birth placement. Right, we don't have to go back into how environmental habitation plays out the majority of your life. Right, and you're in a good position. Environmentally, and you have resources and opportunities, the likelihood for you to be successful is going to be extremely exacerbated due to the fact that you've been given access to that. Right, there's a compounding effect that usually happens in that kind of situation that gives you the ability to be able to be successful, right? So Matthew principle idea. So I'm stuck between the Christian critique, Nietzsche's critique of Christianity, being submissive, right, and the other side of like Taoism or Buddhism, right? This dual mentality that you don't want to allow the external world to be able to change your ability to be able to find happiness and joy and fulfillment in your own life, right? It'd be like if you gave the keys to fulfillment and you gave it to somebody else, you gave it to somebody external, right? You don't want to do that. That's something that I think is extremely important to live your life by. And if we can bring that back into culture and society, I definitely think it's going to be helpful. But yeah, so I'm right between there, right? Like I definitely feel there was potential that was unmet, but now I have the ability to be able to make decisions that are going to have compounding effects in the future in a good way, right? And I wanted to open that question up to the rest of the audience. Like, have you been in a position? Do you feel as if you've been convinced that you are all right? And what I mean by that is that, like me, I think by now I should be a millionaire, which everybody thinks that, right? Like everybody thinks that that they should have the golden ticket, that they should have the keys to success, right? And I understand the psychology of that, right? Like if I was in a different position, then if I was a millionaire looking at this video, I would be like, damn, how did I convince that guy to be all right with where he is? Right? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put myself in a position where I can ask myself, or we can ask ourselves, if you're not like financially independent, if you don't have access to all kind of resources. If there are things that you can't do and that you're bound by due to your environment or due to finances, you're essentially on the same boat, right? It's just in a different position, kind of. And that's what I thought would be extremely important to mention today, right? Have you been convinced? And if you haven't been convinced, right? I don't think I'm convinced. I think that we should definitely make sure that we create a basic income. We create some type of foundation so that we would be able to be out of financial poverty, especially if we're in the 21st century in a first world country. And there are things that we should be given due to the fact that there have been so many people that have worked on behalf of us to get us to this point, right? So I'm into like policy and legislation. I think that we should create policy and legislation. I think that we should use the tools that we've been given by our liberal democracy, right? I think that those are foundational tools that we should use to be able to create change, right? I think that that's hyper important. And the other thing that I think that we should start talking about that I think is like extremely crucial is this idea that due to technological advancement, it's been able to open up such a large access to resources and opportunities, right? So the best way to kind of explain it, like we are the foundations of any type of democracy, right, are built upon this idea of finite and infinite games, right? So for the majority of my life, the way or within the last few months, few years, I've been looking at the way that we've created the structure of our democracy, right? The idea is that you create infinite games that you can continue playing, that the characters are interchangeable, that give you the access to be able to continue playing like the game, right? We'll use politics in this specific example, that give you the ability to enjoy and appreciate the life that you're living, right? What if you use that exact same idea of the structures that we've created for our politics being used as infinite games that are used as tools by the people, by the public, to be able to create change, right? Why can't we use that exact same idea to have an understanding of the way that we see money, the way that we see finances? It's in my opinion that what we've done is we've created infinite games with our financial system through our financial tools, right? Through different ways of being able to create different environments within the ecospheres of finances and resources and wealth, right? Like in theory, like the way that stocks and cryptocurrencies, crowdfunding investments work, like we have the ability to create financial abundance to every citizen throughout the United States. So why haven't we? Why haven't we created like a basic income? Like who is it that we need to talk to? What are the steps that we need to have in place so that we can go ahead and get some of these situations and decisions started? Right? I think that what we do on a day-to-day basis does have the ability for us to be able to create change, right? And one of the best examples that I think that we should start introducing into conversation is this filibuster idea. Like there's a section of the population that has not been taken care of. There's a section of the population that should have some type of representation within our governmental agencies, and the majority of the situations that we're being put under are unfair due to all the reasons and the factors that I had mentioned previously. That's not even going into like futures market, right? And so, and I just think that it's an important conversation that I think we should start, and we should start talking to the youth about, seeing if we can get people engaged, right? There's a passage of keys or passage of the torch that's currently happening in our society today that we have to be conscious and aware of and take advantage of it so that, we can make sure that these kind of situations don't happen in the future. There's no reason that you, right, if you're watching this video, there's no reason that you should not be a millionaire. And if you're not financially independent, join the fight.